After old Joe supposedly won the election, I was very concerned that the liberal tears were going to stop flowing, but thankfully those fears were unfounded. And last night, Marjorie Taylor Greene, the congresswoman from Georgia, caused a waterfall of them to come pouring out all over Twitter after she posted this 11-second video showing her posting a sign outside of her congressional office. A sign that I can't read for you because it's considered to be hate speech. She posted the sign because the Democrats are trying to pass the Orwellianly named Equality Act into law, which, like many bills with catchy names like the Patriot Act, do the exact opposite of what the name entails. I mean, you remember what Edward Snowden revealed, right? I mean, the Patriot Act was anything but patriotic, but that's a whole other story. If passed into law, the Equality Act would add gender identity and gender expression to the list of things that the government and businesses and schools and individuals can't discriminate against someone for, saying that the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which forbids discrimination against anybody for their race, gender, country of origin, ethnicity, age, sex, etc., that's not good enough because it doesn't include gender identity, how somebody feels they are. Of course, this means that individuals who are born biologically male but then decide to identify as a female can join girls' sports teams and compete against other biological girls, and there's nothing that the schools can do to stop it. But that's just the tip of the iceberg, because as most of you know, liberals believe that there are at least 72 different genders, and this is old news for most of you. Some people are probably still getting caught up to this and trying to figure out what the hell is going on, but back in 2014, 7 years ago, Facebook increased their gender options when you sign up from either male to female to a list of 72, but that wasn't inclusive enough, so then they changed it to fill in the blank. You just can make up your own gender because they think that there are more than 72 different genders. So now, if the Equality Act becomes law, then people who identify as gender fluid, which is considered to be an actual gender, then that means that somebody is sometimes a man and sometimes a woman, or gender questioning. They're not sure. Maybe they want to try being a woman or a man, or for a little bit, for a week, for a couple days. So if the Equality Act passes, there will be literally nothing that any school, any gym, any police officer can do if somebody decides that they're gender questioning and they want to try being a woman, and they go and use the women's locker room at the gym. Even presenting reasonable, rational, calm, polite arguments against the Equality Act these days puts you at risk of being suspended or banned from social media. Me just talking about this issue is putting this very video, my very channel, at risk. Of course, the left is trying to silence the debate, as they do for many issues, but this is one that they're particularly very touchy about. And if you caught my video the other day, then you know that Amazon just banned another book about transgender issues, written from a scholarly perspective, because they don't want anybody to hear the other side of the arguments before this bill gets voted on. And just yesterday, Target banned more transgender books. They had banned one in the past, and then they put it back up, and now they banned it again, and another one. So the digital book burning continues as this bill is being discussed. Now, it may not pass. Hopefully it won't pass, because they need every Democrat in the Senate to do it. And Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin might not go along with this. Hopefully they won't go along with this, but you never know. And even if they don't, this is the kind of legislation, these are the kinds of laws that the Democrat Party, the Marxist Party, the Communist Party, are trying to pass. We don't really live in a free country anymore. We haven't for some time, and part of the reason for that, if not the biggest reason, is because most conservatives have been cowards. And I'm not just talking about members of Congress, but also conservative political pundits and political activists who love to speak in generic slogans and rile up their crowds at events across the country like CPAC, which is happening this weekend, but won't really get down to the heart of the matter and won't touch half of the issues that you know that I cover here on this channel because they're afraid of getting called names and being labeled certain things. And as you guys know, I'm treated kind of like the redheaded stepchild of the conservative movement. Nobody really wants to have anything to do with me because he's just too controversial. He talks about crazy things like the Bilderberg Group and the Bohemian Grove, and yeah, don't even get me started on neural interfaces, things I warned about 15 years ago, and everyone thought I was nuts and watched too many movies. Now Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, is literally trying to build a neural interface to plug his brain into a computer and is talking about merging with AI and becoming an immortal god. And The closer you get to the truth, the more it scares people, and the crazier people who don't understand think it is, and you probably get it. And I thought about inviting Marjorie Taylor Greene to see if she wants to do an interview on my channel, but YouTube will probably take it down, give me a strike, probably just ban me altogether, as they've taken down other interviews of her on other channels. I think Sebastian Gorka got a strike for interviewing her because, if I bring her on about the Equality Act, she's going to mention how many genders there are, and you're not allowed to do that, and if the conversation drifts off into the election, you can't talk about that. So it's getting harder and harder to tell the truth on YouTube. And I'm certainly not going to tell lies. So, maybe I'm going to just have to change my channel into a gaming channel or something. Oh, by the way, so CPAC is this weekend. President Trump's going to be speaking there, I think, on Sunday. And yesterday, if you were posting links on Twitter to CPAC's website, cpac.org, Twitter would block them. After word spread about that, then Twitter lifted the ban, said it was just another mistake, always just a mistake. And they did that same thing with Alex Jones's website, banned.video, where he posts his shows and archives of different clips and things. It's sort of like his own personal YouTube. And so for a while, it would get that same warning, oh, don't go there, that's a horrible website. And now you can't even post a link to banned.video on Twitter at all. You just can't even post the tweet. It won't even let you. And I think that Marjorie Taylor Greene's probably going to get suspended from Twitter at some point. Not just suspended, totally banned. They didn't have a problem banning a seated president of the United States. They're certainly not going to have a problem banning a seated member of Congress. And she's already been suspended for, 24 hours or things like that. So, if she keeps posting, things about how many genders there are and asking questions or having the wrong opinion about the election, she's probably going to get banned. And it's not a sales pitch. It's not BS. I am quite concerned that my books will be banned from Amazon someday. So get them in paperback while you can. On the surface, they look, pretty fine and normal. But if you've read some of them, then there are certain chapters or subsections in there, which if I were to report on verbatim here on YouTube or even just post excerpts of on social media, it'd be a big problem. In fact, over the last year or two, Amazon literally updated their terms of service to say that they don't allow books for sale on their platform that include what they deem hate speech. And it was about 2 years ago that they started banning books. Never a problem from 1996 or 1994, whenever Amazon started. Never banned a single book until about just 2 years ago. It started with a few, and it just keeps getting more and more. And so get them while you can. Get them in paperback just so they can't remotely delete them off of your electronic e-reader and Orwellianly dump them down the memory hole. Your purchase helps support my channel, support my work. A lot of good stuff in there that I can't get into here on the channel. A lot of stuff that you definitely need to know. So head on over to Amazon.com or click the link in the description below and check them out.